This is my third screen recording for the month of April. For this track, I've made another trap influence track, kind of trap and grime influence track for my EP. My first influence for this track was this track called Skepta Man. I kind of like the whole vibe of it, kind of like the UK grimy, gritty feel. So I tried to replicate that in mine. I'll give you a listen to this.
Huh? I don't know why man's calling me family all of a sudden. Like, my mum don't know your mum. Stop telling man you're my cousin. I got day ones and I got new ones. No fake ones. Trust no one. This boy better know till I die. Trying to run up in the bank like Bonnie and Clyde. Cause man get money with the gang. Man get girls with the gang. Man eat food with the gang. Man talk slang so the fence can't work out what I just said to a man. Told me you was a big fan.
One thing I instantly liked about this track was the sound of the bass and like the kind of the grittiness of it. I tried to replicate that in my track by starting off with this sound called Brain Drain from Alchemy. Give you this to that. Kind of that like kind of same gritty feel. I put a channel EQ on it. I just got rid of some of the low end just to smoothen it out just a little bit, so it wasn't too bass heavy. Secondly, then I put a compressor on it because it was getting too loud at some parts, and I just wanted to keep it at a fixed level. Really, I didn't want it to jump out about. Right, the next sound I added to this track was a piano from Nexus. Sounds like this. Just kind of follow the track, kind of ride with the track. With this, I cut the low end out just to free up any of them, the space for the other frequencies, and then I just boosted pretty much where the sound was like nicest at. I then cut the high end because I didn't really want much of that. I just wanted more of a mid kind of piano. The next instrument I added after, on this as well, I did add a silver verb, just with a little slight reverb, just to smoothen it out, and again with the compressor, just to keep it all compressed, just keep it all very tight. Right, the third instrument I added was another Alchemy sound, which is kind of just like a nice little synth lead. Play it, you know. Kind of gives it a grimy, like darker feel. To this sound, I just added simply an EQ. I just removed most of the low to mid range and just boosted some of the highs. So I just wanted some highs from that sound. And then again, I put a silver verb on it. But with this one, I took most of the dry out and left some of the wet because I wanted it to be a less harsh sound. I just wanted it to be kind of smooth and flowy. The next sound I added was kind of an atmospheric sound, just to hold the track together. I'll play that for you. Quality, turn up. It's just an eerie sound. It just added to the track in general. Just gave it a darker feel, more grimy feel. To this again, I just added an EQ and got rid of the low end and boosted the frequencies that I really wanted to use, really. The next instrument after this is one called Time Wind. I'll give you some of that. It's just another synth, just to ride like the chorus to kind of bring it out a bit. Compared to just it just makes it a bit more lively and makes it seem like it's a bigger part of the track rather than the same thing just looping over and over again. The first drums I started to add to the track was this clap, I think, that I had, or snare. Yeah, just a clap. Again, I removed the low frequencies and boosted the higher ones. This I also added a compressor just to make it a lot fatter, like a much heavier sound, and still not have it like distort or overload the track at any sort. Next sound I added was a little snare just to keep it flowing. Again, I just got rid of the lower frequencies and boosted the high. And I've done the same to this extra snare. Just rise the track. The next drum I added after that was the kick drum. It's a very solid kick. This one I done the channel EQ. I removed the lower frequencies to about 45 Hz because I believe that that's kind of a subby range and doesn't really need to be like amplified much. I boosted like the 200 Hz because I believe it will make the kick more punchy, and I cut the high end because I didn't want any high end frequencies coming through at all. And to this I did add a compressor just to make the kick more fat and heavy. The next one I did with that, I then bust the signal from the kick to the bass drum, which I have added a compressor to, which is the 808 bass. I've done that so I could sidechain it so the low frequency of the kick would always cut through the bass no matter what, really. To the bass, I have the compressor. Channel EQ. Just cut some of the low end and boosted some of the lower ends, subby ends. Yeah, that's the bass there. I think after that I started to add the hi-hats and such. It's just kind of some ridey hi-hats. I lowered the lower frequencies again and boosted the high. I think with this one I had two separate hi-hat channels, and I've panned each hat to each headphone to give it a wider sound. So with this, I think I've added some other hi-hats just over the top of them. With this one I've really boosted the higher ends and cut the lower end because I wanted them to be heard over the other just rolling hi-hats. Next instrument I added to that was another range of hi-hats, I think. Just again, the same thing, just with a little bit of reverb this time. The next instrument was the open hat. It just rides with the whole track. And just a little bit of silver, smoothing it out. The next instrument was this the triangle. Just adds a nice ting to like the claps, really. Just fills out the track a bit more. I think next I added the crash. It's just nice to like fish night, like just make each 8-bar just a bit more dramatic rather than it just rolling through. And I think I added. Next I added the piano. Again, lowered the lower frequencies, lowered the high ones, and boosted the mid. Added a compressor just to make it a lot more solid. This is just a little bit of brass just to fatten out the track. That's another thing I like from that Skepta track, was the heaviness of the brass. It adds like a new dimension to it, but it's the track. I think for the end I added a switch, just another piano, just to break down the track a bit, add some variety to it.